To start the first game of the 2019 season for Skaggs, he would retire the first 8 batters he faced, but he would start to face some problems in the third, where he would load the bases with 2 outs. He would get out of it unscathed, but would give up a solo home run to Chris Davis the next inning. Skaggs would make it to the 5th, but he would be taken out before finishing it, after giving up a 2-out double to Marcus Semien. The pitcher who would relieve Skaggs was Ty Buttrey, and he would give up a single to Matt Carpenter that scored Marcus Semien, making Skaggs' final line being 4-2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Not the worst, but certainly could have been better. As Skaggs would say himself, I felt pretty good, mechanics-wise, not my greatest. I was feeling for my certain pitches. It makes you a better pitcher in the long run. You know your stuff is not that good, and you can still go out there and compete. For Skaggs' second game, he would face the Rangers, and it would go a lot better for him, and the Angels as a whole. With Trout hitting his 5th career grand slam and an Albert Pujols home run, in a 5-1 win versus the Rangers. Skaggs would also have a great game himself, going 6-1 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, 1 run given up, and 1 walk with 5 strikeouts. A great bounce-back game for Skaggs, and first win since July 25th, 2018 for Skaggs as well. It would also be the best start from an Angels pitcher up till that point in the season. Skaggs would talk about his previous season not ending the greatest for him, saying, I ended the season not the way I wanted to last year, but at the same time I know the caliber of pitcher that I am. Hopefully this is the first of many this year. Skaggs' game versus the Cubs on April 12th could have been looked at as a step back for him. And it wasn't a good game for him, giving up 3 home runs in the first and another home run in the 4th. Besides the 4 home runs, Skaggs was able to get 7 strikeouts in 4 innings. Skaggs said he felt that his start was strangely solid. The Cubs manager Joe Maddon would also give Skaggs his props after the game, saying,
Skaggs is good. You saw it once he settled down. This guy's really good. So I'm really pleased that we got on him quickly, because if we had not, I'm certain that he would have pitched at least 5, 6 maybe innings with that curveball and changeup. Once he got a feel for that, he got a lot more difficult.
Brad Ausmus would also try and cover for Skaggs, saying, other than the home runs, I thought he pitched pretty well actually. I think the Cubs took advantage of a few mistakes and made him pay. Skaggs said after the game, 3rd home run, tipped my cap. Thought it was a pretty decent pitch. I think those home runs are gone in any ballpark. Next time I pitch here, I hope it's extra windy. I'll get them then. Skaggs would have to go on the IL on April 15th because of a left ankle sprain he suffered from the Cubs game, from the game on April 12th. Something that happened during the game, though, that wouldn't be found out till a few days later, is Tyler Skaggs suffered an injury in the 4th after attempting to field a bunt attempt from Kyle Schwarber in the 4th. After he got the injury, he tried to pitch through it, but couldn't really push off his left foot, which resulted in his fastball dropping off by 5 miles per hour. Something else that seemed to have been kept a secret at the time was that Skaggs continued to suffer from physical pain from the multiple injuries he had gotten over his career, that Skaggs was self-medicating to numb the pain to continue to play baseball. In Skaggs' first game back from the IL would be a historic night, not so much for Skaggs, but he would have an alright night himself. But for Albert Pujols, passing Lou Gehrig for the 4th place on the all-time RBI list, with 1,995 RBIs. He did so with a 2-run home run in the 1st inning and a 5-1 win for the Angels. While Skaggs pitched a pretty good game himself with 5 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts, and he only gave up 3 hits, but he did give up 3 walks. A pretty good comeback game after his last start. May would be the first month where Skaggs would be able to play the whole month without having to go on the IL. With his start versus the Blue Jays on May 2nd. He continued to put up a quality start, going 6 innings with 5 strikeouts, walking 3 batters and giving up 2 runs, and a 6-2 win. That would result in a sweep of the Blue Jays. One of the 2 runs came from fellow first-round Angels draft pick Randall Grichuk on an RBI double in the 6th inning. In Skaggs' last 2 games, he had only given up 2 runs in 11 innings. Skaggs saying that
he cut down the walks, but other than that, I felt pretty good out there tonight. I wish my curveball would have been a little better. Probably had a little better outing. But other than that, I think I'm hitting my stride. I mean, it's feeling good. I threw some really good changeups. Fastball command was pretty solid at the end. I think the fourth and the fifth, though, kind of got away from me a little bit, but the team picked me up. Bardsy's picked me up twice in a row, so he's done a great job. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to that next time I go out there. But, they're the backbone of our team right now, and I think the starting pitchers are starting to pick it up a little bit, but they've done a great job for us so far.
Brad Osmus would also say,
He's just gotten sharper. You always worry about when a guy is coming off an injury, how sharp he's going to be, what's his stamina going to be. I think he did get a little bit tired there in the end of the fifth, tried to squeeze the one out in the sixth with a left-handed hitter off him. That didn't work, but overall he did an outstanding job. I don't think he gave up a hit until the fourth or fifth inning.
After Skaggs went on a little run, he would hit a pretty bad skid over his next 3 games. With his game in Detroit, he would give up 8 runs over 4 and 2 innings on 8 hits and walking 2 batters. Brad Osmus tried to blame the bad game on the weather, saying it seemed like that was the issue. Tyler, on the other hand, put the blame on himself, saying, "I'm not going to do it. Some days you don't have it. Some days you got it. Some days you don't. I felt pretty good, but they hit some bad pitches. I'm not going to consider it a setback. I'm just as confident if I give up 10 runs. I know I'm a big league pitcher. I know I can go out there every 5 days and continue to keep it rolling. Just a small bump." Skaggs' next game versus the Twins on May 13th was not much better for Skaggs, giving up 4 runs, 3 walks, 5 hits on just 5 innings pitched. Well, the Angels did win this game mostly on a Shohei Ohtani and Tommy La Stella home runs. 2 of the hits Skaggs gave up were home runs as well. His game versus the Royals on May 19th was a little better than the last 2 games, getting into the 6th inning, but having to throw 110 pitches to get there. Skaggs would give up 4 runs on 6 hits and 2 walks. The one silver lining was the 7 strikeouts. After that 3-game skid, Skaggs would put up a good game versus the Texas Rangers. Skaggs throwing 5 2/3 shutout innings, only giving up 3 hits but walking 2 batters. Skaggs also had 7 strikeouts over those 5 2/3 shutout innings. Skaggs said after the game, "I felt really good. Fastball command was really good tonight. I wish Brad would have left me out there, but at the same time, a win is a win." Skaggs may have had a bad May, which would be his first full month of the year. He did end it on a good note. Now, the Angels did lose the game 4-3, even with back-to-back shots from Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in the 6th. Skaggs pitched 2 shutout innings to start the game, but a single from Dylan Moore that scored Tom Murphy and gave the Marlins a 1-0 lead in the 3rd. Skaggs would have a scoreless 4th, but give up a 2-run home run to Tom Murphy in the 5th. He would give up another home run of his day to Jay Bruce. The home run that Jay Bruce hit was also his 300th career home run. After the 2 home runs, it wasn't too bad of a night for him. Skaggs striking out 8 batters over 7 innings and would walk only 1 batter. The stats for May he had was a 5.29 ERA and 34 innings pitched, 31 hits given up. He walked 13 batters, struck out 36 batters, gave up 4 home runs and 22 runs. In June, Skaggs would continue his up and down year by not having a good start. A poor game by giving up 6 runs on 6 hits and 4 walks, and only being able to go 4 innings. Notably, Skaggs' fastball velocity dipped the further he got into his start. The average on his fastball went from 92 miles per hour earlier in the game to 89 miles per hour when he got into the 5th inning. Skaggs would downplay health concerns and pointed towards throwing 77 pitches through the first 4 innings. Skaggs would say, "I just didn't have it today. I was a disaster. Go back to the drawing board."
I think the command wasn't there. He obviously, Skaggs, he wasn't as sharp as he has been on other days. I think that was pretty clear. Just you could tell. I think he had a couple long at bats, close to 10 pitch at bats. I think kind of wore him down a little bit as well. So just an off day. That's my guess. I mean, I certainly can't prove it, but I think the long at bats was a factor there. I think the A's played the same game as us, and they were fine. So I don't want to use that as a crutch.
Skaggs' game versus the Tampa Bay Rays on June 13th was a very eventful one, where the power would go out in the middle of the 4th inning.
He's here at Tropicana Field in the bottom of the 4th inning. And our latest information, an announcement just made inside Tropicana Field. The nature of this issue has to do with a fire at a substation, and parts of downtown St. Petersburg are without power. We have been without power here at Tropicana Field for the last 20-plus minutes now.
Albert Pujols would hit his 200th home run as an Angel, and Shohei Ohtani hit for the cycle for the first time in his career, 8th to be done by an Angel, last being done by Mike Trout on May 21st of 2013, and the first cycle to be done by a Japanese-born player in MLB. Skaggs himself had an alright night, maybe not to the same level as Pujols or Ohtani, but not bad either. Skaggs would go on to pitch 5 innings with 5 Ks, walking 2 batters and giving up 3 runs on 7 hits, in a 5-3 win for the Angels. Skaggs commented after the game about Shohei Ohtani hitting for the cycle. Very rarely do you get to see someone hit for the cycle, so I'm happy to be the one pitching the game to just being a part of it. Skaggs, coming into his June 18th game versus the Blue Jays, would have the ability to help the Angels reach 500 for the first time since April 15th. And he didn't just help, he dominated against the Blue Jays in a 3-1 win. After posting a 6.32 ERA in his last 7 starts, Skaggs would have his best outing thus far in the season by going 7 1/3 innings of 1-run ball, the 1 run being a home run from Luis Gurria Jr. in the 4th. Skaggs also had 6 strikeouts and only giving up 3 hits. Truly a gem for Skaggs. The 3 runs from the Angels coming from 2 home runs in the 5th from Cole Calhoun, Brian Goodwin, and a Tommy La Stella ground out that scored Kevin Smith. Skaggs believed that pitching aggressively, using his curveball led to his improved outing, but he was also motivated by Brian Osmus warming up Cam Bedrosian in the 6th. Skaggs would have a 1-2-3 inning in the 6th, his hardest pitch of the year with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, striking out Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Skaggs talked about that, saying, "I told him after the inning, why is someone warming up? This is my game that shouldn't be happening." Skaggs added, "I told him to hang up the phone." Osmus would explain why he had Bedrosian warming up by saying, "Just in case if a couple guys got on and something changed." Skaggs took care of that. Skaggs would be able to participate in a very cool moment in baseball when Albert Pujols returned to the St. Louis Cardinals for the first time since leaving 7 years previously.
Well, just like the first 2 games, Yadier Molina steps right in front of home plate, letting Albert have his moment. We talked about it every night. Different people show up to the ballpark, and Albert tipping his cap.
This is absolutely a blessing to witness.
While the first 2 games of Albert Pujols coming home series was very nice for both Albert and the Cardinals, it wasn't so much for the Angels, losing the first 2 games while only scoring 3 runs and giving up 9. Besides the bats not showing up and being down Shohei Ohtani because of the DH rule in the NL at the time, the pitchers didn't perform like they should have, and that mostly being the bullpen, with the bullpen being responsible for 7 of the 9 runs given up in the first 2 games. Skaggs, on the other hand, put up a very solid performance against St. Louis, throwing 5 shutout innings with 3 strikeouts, while the Angels' bats scored 2 runs in the 2nd and the 6th, both from Tommy La Stella singles, and a 4-run 9th inning from a 2-run David Fletcher single and a 1-run single from Dustin Garmonza, and a bases-loaded walk by Welfer Tavello. Skaggs said, "I don't miss being in the NL. I do not miss it at all," commenting on having to pitch hit for. "I understand, though, we scored a run that inning. I got pitched hit for, but I felt really good." On June 29th, both Skaggs and the Angels would have a poor game versus the A's, in which we wouldn't know at the time would be Skaggs' last game. Skaggs would only go 4 1/3 innings before being taken out after a Marcus Semien double that scored Jerickson Profar. Marcus would score after a Matt Carpenter home run, bringing up Skaggs' total runs given up to 2. The reason why Skaggs got taken out earlier than he probably should have or wanted to was because Skaggs was facing the A's batting order for a 3rd time, and Brad Osmus said he didn't like it when his starters faced the opposing team's batting order for a 3rd time.
No, I actually thought he was real sharp early. Maybe not quite as sharp later, but he came out of the gate looking real strong. Yeah, it hurt a little bit in terms of pitch count, but it was an outstanding job by him to get out of that. Get out with a double play and no runs across at the time was a huge part of the game. No, I didn't think he got cute tonight. I thought he was going after him. You're not always going to have your best command, but the stuff overall was still pretty good. In my opinion. You just get to me, you're getting up near 100 pitches and 3rd time through the order. We're trying to avoid big innings. keep the game close.
Which does hold some strategic advantage in baseball, in which stats show that each time a pitcher is successful making a trip through the batting order, the opposing teams, the stats being the first time through the order, a 243 batting average, a 309 OPS, a 404 slugging, and a 703 OPS. The second time, a 255 batting average, a 318 OPS, a 428 slugging, and a 747 OPS. A third time, a 265 average, a 329 on-base percentage, a 452 slugging, and a 780 OPS. The strategy had irked Skaggs in past starts. Skaggs stating after the game, "Me and Brad had talked about this. I'm sure he gave you his answer." The third time through the batting order strategy can be a useful strategy, but it can really hurt a pitcher's confidence and his abilities to get through a batting order the more it is used. This would be the third straight start where Skaggs protested his removal from. In that 3-game span, Skaggs had posted a 1.62 ERA. Skaggs would say, "Hopefully the next time I'm through the third time through the order, it's deeper in the game. It's his decision, it's his team. I just come to work every day, and hopefully I can help our team win." The next day, Tyler Skaggs would post on his Instagram of himself and his Angels teammates dressed up as cowboys for the road trip series in Texas versus the Rangers and Astros. Later that same day, Tyler would text the Angels communication director Eric Kay asking for painkillers. Tyler would not respond to his wife's goodnight text later that night, which she would send when Tyler was on the road. The next day, a few hours before the Angels were set to play the Rangers, medical personnel would be sent to the hotel the Angels were staying at. By the time they got there, Skaggs was already gone, pronounced dead at the scene. He was still wearing the cowboy outfit from the team photo from the previous day. When Skaggs was found, both blue pills and white powder was found in his room. Both the pills and the powder later tested positive for fentanyl. The Angels would release a statement on the passing of Skaggs, which would be followed by others later in the day, such as Tyler's former team, the D-backs, and many others, would pay tributes to Skaggs, if that be teams, fans, players, or broadcasters. The Angels and Rangers both agreed to postpone that day's game and play it at a later date.
On a rainy afternoon here in Arlington, a tragic day for the Angels family as we welcome you to Angels Live, I should say, from Globe Life Park. This afternoon, Tyler Skaggs was found dead in his hotel room, passing away at the age of 27. And the only word I can use right now is shock as we stare up to the heavens. And can only hope that Tyler is looking down upon us here today as we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Kent French alongside Mark Gubiza. Certainly a very difficult afternoon for everybody involved. Gubi, you were just at a team meeting where everybody was brought together. And I can only imagine you and I had a chance to see each other a little bit earlier this afternoon. But can you even describe what the moment was like when you were at that meeting?
Just seeing everybody in my truck, give me a hug, almost breaking my ribs. It's tough. He meant so much to so many guys at so many different levels, from teammate to organization to Angel fans. It's so difficult. Everyone's just in complete shock. They're shaking their heads, but they loved him so much. Just seeing him on the plane last night in his cowboy gear and having that smile on his face. Yeah. I think that's what everyone's doing right now, is trying to think about the fun times with Tyler, because he was an incredibly fun guy. Everyone loved being around him. I think that's what's pulling everyone together at this moment there with the Angels.
The next day, Patrick Corbin, a former teammate of Tyler Skaggs, who now played for the Washington Nationals, in a tribute to Skaggs, would change his number to 45, Skaggs' number for a game.
And inscribing number 45, Tyler Skaggs' number, Patrick's number tonight, into the back of the pitcher's mound.
The Angels would play their first game since Skaggs' death, in a game that they would win 9-4.
His uniform hung in his locker before the game today. The team came out for the national anthem and for the moment of silence, and the jersey is in the dugout as well, as it is with the heaviest of hearts. We welcome you back to Angels baseball here on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Gubiza. I'm Victor Rojas, and of course, the passing of Tyler Skaggs, the unexpected passing of Tyler Skaggs, has touched many of us throughout the baseball community, and there was a lot of question as to whether or not this game would be played today, and obviously the Angels decided that it was time to put the uniform on and try to go out there. And Gooby, from a player's perspective, it is a way of healing, I would imagine.
It is, even with the guys last night, even late last night, just talking and, you know, reminiscing about Tyler, the smiles, the crying, the hugging, and knowing that they have to find a way to be able to get together and heal as a team. And this is that moment where they're all trying to do so, is being together as a family, supporting the entire Skaggs family. And that is the most important thing, Victor, is supporting his family. It's an Angel family, but it's all part of Tyler Skaggs' family right now. And the guys right now are just rallying together and hoping that they'll be able to put forth a good game today.
With Jose Soros starting and going 4 innings, giving up 3 of the 4 runs, but having the Angels bats to help him out. One bat that could have helped was Tommy LaStella, who was having an all-star year up to that point, but had to leave the game in the 6th inning after fouling a ball off his right shin. It would later be found out after a CT scan that LaStella had fractured his right tibia and would have to miss the rest of the season. Stella would be named an all-star, but could not play in the game. He would still go to the game. Both him and Mike Trout would wear Tyler Skaggs' 45 at the all-star game.
We ask you to join us in remembering the life of Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, who passed away last Monday. Beloved by his teammates and family, Tyler was a vibrant member of the baseball community whose positive spirit extended far beyond the baseball field. Please join us in a moment of silence in memory of Tyler Skaggs. Thank you.
On July 6, Andrew Heaney, who was Tyler Skaggs' best friend, had a very nice tribute to Skaggs. With Heaney's first pitch of the game, he would throw out one of Tyler Skaggs' curveballs. Now, Andrew Heaney didn't really throw curveballs like Tyler Skaggs did, but it was still a very nice tribute to him. He would also draw a number 45 mound dirt before his first pitch.
We had a chance to talk to him yesterday.
And he mentioned to us exactly that he would put Tyler's initials in the dirt in the back of the mound.
He'll face George Springer to lead things off. And that pitch right there was for Tyler Skaggs.
The next day, the Angels would have a truly grueling 10-11 game versus the Astros, in which this 8th inning, Angels catcher Jonathan Lucroy would get ran over by Astros Jake Mastritsky in a play at home plate. The play giving Jonathan Lucroy a concussion and a fractured nose. The play may have broken the rules, but the umps did not call it at the time, and Jake would score the tying run in the 8th. And the Angels would lose the game in the 10th inning by way of a George Springer walk-off single. After the collision, Jonathan Lucroy wouldn't play a game with the Angels again till July 31st, that being the last game Jonathan Lucroy would play for the Angels, later being designated for assignment on August 7th and being released by them 3 days later. He would sign with the Cubs on the 8th and play the rest of the year with them. After the collision, Lucroy would only play in 36 games, after it never really being the same player ever again. The Angels' first home game after Tyler Skaggs' death would be against the Seattle Mariners on July 12th. Before the game, the Angels played a tribute video, had a pre-game ceremony, and had Tyler Skaggs' mother throw out the first pitch of the game, which was a perfect strike to Andrew Heaney.
Tyler's mom, Debbie, brother, Garrett, stepdad, Dan, and wife, Carly. Tyler's mom, Debbie, will be tossing an honorary first pitch to Tyler's teammate and good friend, Andrew Heaney.
All the Angels players beforehand had decided while still in Texas that they should all wear Skaggs' 45. They also decided to wear the red Angels jerseys because those were Skaggs' favorite. The Angels would go with a opener for this game, having Tyler Cole start the game and Felix Pena finishing the game. The Angels would score 13 runs on 13 hits. 2 of those runs coming from a mammoth 454-foot 2-run home run. Mike Trout, and by the end of the night, Trout would have driven in 6 of the 13 runs the Angels would score. Tyler Cole and Felix Pena would just come 1 walk short from throwing a perfect game, but would throw the Angels' 11th no-hitter in their franchise history. The no-hitter came a few hours of what would have been Skaggs' 28th
fires to first. The Angels have no-hit the Seattle Mariners.
It has been an amazing roller coaster of emotions for this Angels franchise over the last 2 weeks. Now we've seen this a couple of times, the hugs on the field. And you know that when you talk about baseball in the course of the marathon that is a season, how tightly knit baseball teams and players and clubhouses can become, players, coaches, staff. And it's unfortunate that Tyler Skaggs, the original 45, is not here to witness this, but in his honor, wearing his jersey and his number, Tyler Cole of Felix Pena, this Los Angeles Angels franchise, we honor the memory of Tyler Skaggs. And now the 45 jerseys being placed on the mound.
This is absolutely indescribable. This is the most amazing moment I've ever seen. It is a perfect night to honor a perfect human being in Tyler Skaggs.
Some of the numbers surrounding the game are truly amazing, and some feel a little more than just a coincidence. One of the numbers being the home run hit by Mike Trout would go 454 feet with an exit velocity of 111 miles per hour. The 454 number is a bit more obvious than the first number, that being the 45, Skaggs' jersey number. The other number, 111, would be Skaggs' number in high school at Santa Monica High School, that being number 11. The 7 runs scored in the first inning and the final score being 13 would make up his birthday, July 13th, which would just be a few hours before the last out. It was also the 11th no-hitter in Angels franchise history. As stated before, Skaggs wore the number in high school. I believe the most interesting being the last time a combined no-hitter was thrown in California happened on the day Tyler Skaggs was born, that being July 13th, 1991, when the Baltimore Orioles threw a no-hitter against the Oakland Athletics.
That's it. Payne strikes out. Greg Olson completes the relay no-hitter. 4 men. Former catcher appreciates the effort.
Absolutely. You got to appreciate that effort by everyone on that staff that came into this ball game.
Bob Malachy, Mike Flanagan, Mark Williamson, Greg Olson are in the history books.
All right.
The Angels would keep the ball from the last out and put it in Skaggs' locker, which was kept throughout the rest of the season, on the road and home. Tyler Cole would say after the game, "It's beyond whatever you can write up or think about. It's the single greatest moment I've ever had on a baseball field. And I've been playing since I was a little kid. It goes beyond just winning the baseball game. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond all that. When you can comfort and help people heal and help people realize that there is something more to this than baseball, everybody is going to be okay. Tyler is going to be looking down on us, and he'll be here for us and with us for a long time, forever really. Nothing gets better than that."